Beloved friends, the very effort to acquire is the confession that you are without. When you strive, you declare to life, I do not yet possess. But what you do not realize is that creation is already finished. All that you desire exists now, waiting not to be achieved, but to be accepted. Trying, reaching, struggling, these belong to the realm of lack. The man who constantly seeks money is affirming poverty. The woman who chases love is affirming loneliness. The seeker who endlessly prays for healing is affirming sickness. Yet the moment one dares to rest in the assumption of already having, the world bends to mirror that truth. Stop trying to get. Instead, imagine yourself already in possession of your desire. Feel it real. Rest in the state of accomplishment. See yourself as you wish to be, and persist in that unseen reality until it hardens into fact. You will discover that your desire is not something far off in the distance. It is not waiting for tomorrow, nor locked in the future. It is here, now, in the invisible realm of imagination, awaiting only your acceptance. When you cease trying, when you give up the desperate pursuit, you will find that what you sought so earnestly is suddenly yours, not by struggle, but by surrender. On Suranarai, Ira Unhei, Unia Street, Devote, Konohim. So tonight, stop striving, stop chasing, enter into the feeling of the wish fulfilled, live as though it is already yours. For the moment you stop trying to get it, you will discover you already have it. Desire is never something that lies outside of you, waiting to be captured by struggle or earned by endless pursuit. What you call a dream, a goal, or a longing does not begin in the world of facts. It begins in the invisible world of imagination. Everything you now touch, see, or call reality was once nothing more than an unseen image in the mind of someone who dared to accept it as true before it appeared. The house you live in, the clothes you wear, the technology you hold in your hands, all of it was once an idea that existed only in the imagination. And so it is with every desire that stirs within you. It is not pointing you towards something absent. It is revealing what already exists, waiting for your recognition. The great mistake most people make is to chase their desires outwardly. They believe that through effort, competition, or endless striving, they will eventually obtain what they seek. Yet pursuit is a confession. It declares to the world, I do not yet have. The longer you chase, the more firmly you cement the belief that your desire is distant, and as long as it feels distant, it cannot come near. What you run after always runs ahead of you. The more you reach, the further it slips away. But when you turn inward, when you dare to assume that the thing you want is already yours, something remarkable happens. Imagination reshapes your inner world, and the outer world rearranges itself to match that assumption. To imagine the desire fulfilled is to plant the seed of its expression. You may not see its form immediately, but just as the seed buried in the soil contains the promise of the tree, so does your assumption contain the certainty of its manifestation. So it tells us, when we have the system to stand on, this is why imagination is not mere daydreaming, it is the creative act. To envision yourself already successful, already loved, already healed, is to step into the reality that is waiting to express itself. Life is compelled to mirror the state you occupy. If you live in the state of lack, circumstances will affirm lack. If you live in the state of fulfillment, it cannot be otherwise, for the outer is but a reflection of the inner. The key then is not to ask how your desire will come, nor to struggle endlessly in pursuit of it. The key is to accept it now in imagination, to dwell in the feeling that it is already so. This acceptance is not passivity, it is creative rest. It is the quiet knowing that what you have assumed must, by the law of consciousness, become your reality. From that inner rest, inspired action flows naturally, without effort, without strain, as though the world itself conspires to deliver what you already possess within. So the next time you feel the stirring of desire, do not rush outward in search of it. Close your eyes. Enter into the scene that would be true if it were already fulfilled. Feel its reality. Rest there. And as you persist, you will come to see that the desire was never something you had to chase. It was always yours, waiting only to be claimed. In imagination first, before it could appear in the world of facts. Chasing after something you desire may feel natural, but it secretly reinforces the very state you are trying to escape. The act of running toward a goal is a subtle declaration that you are without it. When you chase money, you are admitting to yourself that poverty is your present reality. When you chase love, you are affirming loneliness. When you chase recognition, you are silently confessing that you feel invisible. Every effort to grasp something out there keeps alive the assumption that it is not yet yours, and life faithfully mirrors that inner confession. Those awful truths need standing up. The more intensely you chase, the stronger the sense of lack becomes. It is like running after your own shadow. You can never catch it, because the very act of pursuit keeps it just beyond your reach. Desire, when approached as something separate from you, becomes an endless race. You may achieve moments of temporary satisfaction, but soon another chase begins, and the cycle of lack continues. The outer world cannot give you what you do not first claim inwardly. If you do not feel rich within, money will slip through your fingers. If you do not feel loved within, relationships will leave you empty. This is why chasing is not the path to fulfillment. Chasing belongs to the realm of effort, of striving, of constantly reaching for what is absent. But true manifestation is born not from pursuit, but from possession. Possession begins in imagination, in the silent acceptance that what you desire is already yours. The one who lives in the assumption of wealth does not chase money. Opportunities naturally gravitate toward them. The one who assumes they are loved does not chase affection. They radiate such fullness that love flows effortlessly into their life. The outer is always compelled to match the inner state. When you chase, you are unknowingly clinging to the thought, I don't have. That thought becomes a seed, and from it grows the fruit of continued absence. But when you stop chasing and begin to dwell in the feeling of already having, you break the cycle. Instead of lack, you affirm abundance. Instead of loneliness, you affirm companionship. Instead of invisibility, you affirm recognition. The shift may be silent and invisible at first, but it is powerful, for the inner state is the root of every outer change. Think of a magnet. It does not run after the iron, it draws it effortlessly by being what it is. In the same way, when you embody the state of fulfillment, what belongs to that state comes to you without strain. There is no chasing, no desperate pursuit, only natural attraction. Life responds not to your struggle, but to your state of being. So release the chase. Cease from effort. Instead of reaching outward, turn inward and claim the reality of your desire. Feel it as present, live as though it is already yours, and let the world reflect that truth back to you. Chasing strengthens lack, but assuming fulfillment ends the race and brings what you desire into your experience with ease. Resting in the feeling of already being or having is the secret that ends struggle. Most people live their lives striving, pushing, and forcing, believing that effort alone can bring them closer to their desires. Yet striving is born out of the belief that something is missing, that fulfillment lies somewhere far ahead. The truth is, the very state of striving confirms that you are not there yet. Rest, however, places you in the reality of already having, and it is this rest that transforms the invisible into the visible. When you rest in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you enter the state of possession before the evidence appears. You are no longer fighting against the current of life, no longer exhausting yourself in constant effort. You are seated in the awareness that what you desire is already yours, and this awareness has creative power. It is not passivity, but the highest form of action, in inner alignment with the reality you long for. Striving keeps you on the outside, but rest brings you to the inside, and life must conform to the inner state you occupy. Consider the way a seed grows into a tree. The seed does not strive, worry, or force its growth. It simply rests in the soil, in the quiet knowing of what it is. Hidden beneath the surface, it expands silently, until one day it breaks through into visible expression. So it is with you. When you plant yourself in the feeling of already having what you desire, even if no evidence appears at first, the unseen process is already at work. The outer world will rearrange itself to reveal what you have accepted inwardly. Resting in fulfillment requires trust. It requires letting go of timelines, letting go of the urge to control every detail, and surrendering the need to see immediate results. Striving belongs to impatience, but rest belongs to faith. To rest is to say within yourself, "It is already done. I have received it." From that position of inner completion, your actions become natural extensions of the state you live in, not desperate attempts to achieve it. You no longer chase opportunities. Opportunities flow to you. You no longer beg for recognition. Recognition comes uninvited. You no longer fight for love. Love surrounds you because you are resting in it. The feeling of already being or having is the only true cause of manifestation. If you wish for abundance, rest in the feeling of wealth. If you wish for love, rest in the feeling of being cherished. If you wish for success, rest in the feeling of accomplishment. The more deeply you relax into this state, the more effortlessly life reflects it back to you. So stop striving, stop running, close your eyes, and breathe in the reality of your fulfilled desire. Rest there, linger there, return to it again and again until it feels natural. In that rest, you will discover the miracle. What you once chased tirelessly will appear in your life without struggle, for it was always waiting in the state of being you dared to occupy. Imagination is not idle play, nor is it a meaningless escape from reality. It is the very womb of creation, the source from which all things emerge. Before any invention, discovery, or achievement existed in the outer world, it lived first in the imagination of someone who dared to see beyond the evidence of their senses. The chair you sit on, the building you enter, the music you hear, all were once invisible images in the unseen realm of thought. Imagination is the creative act, and the world you experience is nothing more than its reflection. Most people believe the outer world is the cause and imagination is the effect, but the reverse is true. What you entertain within your mind shapes the circumstances of your life. Your outer world is a mirror, faithfully reflecting the inner pictures you hold and the states you dwell in. If you imagine lack, life will present lack. If you imagine abundance, life will reflect abundance. Nothing appears on the screen of your world that did not first exist in the theater of your imagination. To imagine is to choose the seed you plant in the soil of consciousness. Whatever seed you accept and nurture within will in time break forth into expression. You may not see it sprouting immediately, just as a farmer does not see a seed turn into fruit overnight. Yet, the creative act has already been performed the moment you imagined and accepted it as true. From then on, the outer world is compelled to organize itself to match that inner reality. This is why imagination is not to be dismissed as fantasy. Fantasy is idle because it is fleeting and weakly entertained. True imagination is deliberate, vivid, and sustained. When you imagine with feeling, when you step into the scene of your desire and live in it as though it were already fact, you ignite the power that shapes destiny. You shift your state of being, and life must reflect that state back to you, for the outer has no choice but to mirror the inner. Think of a mirror. It does not decide what to reflect. It simply shows what stands before it. The outer world works the same way. It reflects your inner assumptions, beliefs, and imaginings without question. If you dislike the reflection, the solution is not to fight the mirror, but to change the image you project. Change your inner conversation, alter your inner picture, and the mirror of life will display something new. So if you seek transformation, do not labor to rearrange the outer world. That is only shadows and reflections. Go to the root, the imagination. Dare to see yourself as already possessing what you desire. Dare to imagine boldly and persistently. Live inwardly in the reality you long for, and let the outer world rise to meet it. For imagination is the true creative act, and everything you call real is only its reflection. Letting go of effort is not weakness, nor is it passivity. It is the recognition that struggle itself keeps you bound to the very condition you wish to escape. When you are always striving, pushing, and forcing, you are confessing silently that you are not yet what you desire to be. The harder you try, the more you reinforce the gap between yourself and your wish. But the moment you release effort and accept your desired state as your present reality, you step into the power that actually creates change. Effort belongs to doubt. It springs from the hidden belief that what you long for is far away, difficult to obtain, or dependent upon circumstances outside of your control. Acceptance, on the other hand, belongs to faith. It is the quiet confidence that what you have assumed is already true and that the world will inevitably align to reflect it. When you accept your state, you no longer chase it, you embody it. And embodiment is the key to manifestation. Consider the actor who plays a role. He does not struggle to become his character, he accepts it fully. He wears its thoughts, its feelings, its mannerisms as if they were his own. For the time he remains in that state, the audience sees only the character, not the man behind it. In the same way, when you accept your chosen state, when you live in the assumption of already being or having, the world sees that state in you and responds accordingly. You no longer have to force events. You are the role, and life becomes the stage that matches your performance. Effort implies resistance. It is like swimming upstream, exhausting yourself against the current of life. Acceptance is like floating, carried effortlessly by the river in the direction of your desire. The moment you let go of effort, you discover that circumstances begin to arrange themselves without strain. The phone call comes, the opportunity opens, the door you thought was closed suddenly swings wide. These things happen not because you fought for them, but because you accepted them as already true within yourself. Acceptance requires imagination and persistence, not struggle. To accept is to feel that your desire is here now, not tomorrow, not in some distant future. It is to breathe it in as real, to walk as though it were already fact, to speak from it, and to rest in it with ease. When doubt arises, you do not fight it with effort, you simply return to your state and affirm silently, "It is done." The world cannot resist such quiet certainty. So let go of effort. Release the tension, the striving, the endless trying. Close your eyes and step into the state you long for, as though it were already yours. Accept it, live in it, persist in it. The moment you claim it inwardly as your present reality, life itself bends to reflect it outwardly. What you thought could only be won through struggle reveals itself as already here, awaiting only your acceptance. Reaching is the silent admission that what you seek lies beyond your grasp. It keeps you suspended in a state of longing, always stretching forward but never arriving. The moment you stop reaching, however, a shift takes place. You realize that what you desire is not separate from you. You are not required to chase it down, to beg for it, or to prove yourself worthy of it. You are it. You are already the state you long for. And when you rest in that truth, receiving becomes effortless. Life responds to being, not to yearning. As long as you are yearning, you vibrate with incompletion. You send out the message, "I am not yet," and the outer world simply reflects that message back to you with situations and circumstances that affirm your incompleteness. But when you stop reaching, when you cease stretching toward the future and instead inhabit the state of already being, you align with the truth of your desire. In that alignment, the world mirrors your wholeness, not your lack. Think of the child who plays make-believe. She does not reach for the role she imagines, she steps into it. If she declares herself a queen, she carries herself as a queen. She does not wait for a crown to be placed on her head to feel royal. In her being, she already is, and her play transforms the moment. The same principle applies to you. When you embody the feeling of already being the person you wish to become, the world bows to that assumption and brings evidence of it into your experience. Reaching is tension, it is effort, it is rooted in the false belief that fulfillment lies outside of yourself. But receiving is relaxation, it is openness, it is rooted in the recognition that what you are inwardly being must, by law, appear outwardly. You receive not by stretching out your hands towards something distant, but by opening your heart to what you already are. Receiving is not passive, it is powerful, for it rests in certainty, not in struggle. The truth is, you are never incomplete. every desire that rises within you points to a reality that is already yours in the unseen. You long for love because you are already love. You long for abundance because you are already abundance. You long for freedom because you are already free. The desire is not a signal of absence, it is a reminder of presence. By reaching, you push it away. By stopping, you allow it to surface. So stop reaching. Stop looking ahead for some distant moment when everything will finally be as you want it. Rest instead in the awareness that you already are. Let the feeling of completion, of fulfillment, of wholeness settle upon you now. As you dwell in that state, life itself will rise to meet you. The things you once stretched toward will flow into your experience with ease, for they were never outside of you. They were always within, waiting for you to stop reaching and to finally receive. The truth is simple. What you seek is already yours. Stop striving, stop chasing, stop reaching outward. Rest in the inner knowing that imagination is the creative act and that every desire fulfilled exists in you now. The world is only a mirror, faithfully reflecting the state you occupy. When you let go of effort and accept your wish as present reality, life has no choice but to reveal it. So live from the end. Walk as though it is already done. Rest in the feeling of completion, and you will see how effortlessly life bends to your assumption. The moment you stop trying to get it, you will find you already have it. Thank you, my friends, for opening your hearts and minds tonight. May you leave here no longer seekers, but possessors, living boldly in the certainty of already being all that you desire to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, our minds are the architects of our lives. With every thought, belief, and habit, we shape the world around us. Yet so often we find ourselves trapped in patterns that poison our potential, cloud our clarity, and kill our creativity. Today I invite you to take a journey where we will shed the mental shackles that have bound us for far too long. Imagination is the creative force that shapes reality. Everything we see, touch, or experience in the physical world began as a thought, an idea, a vision. The chair you sit on, the buildings that surround you, even the technology that connects us all originated in someone's imagination before being brought into existence. This is not just a poetic notion, it is the fundamental principle of how we engage with the world. Our outer lives are but a reflection of our inner world, and the thoughts we hold, the images we dwell upon, set the course of our experiences. To understand the power of imagination, one must first realize that the mind is not a passive observer of reality, but an active participant in its creation. Each thought carries within it the potential to influence, alter, and even create our external circumstances. What we continuously focus on with our mind's eye tends to manifest in our everyday life. This is because imagination shapes our beliefs, and our beliefs, in turn, dictate our actions. And it is through consistent action that reality is molded. Consider this: when we imagine something vividly and with conviction, our subconscious mind accepts it as true, regardless of whether it has happened yet in the physical world. The subconscious does not distinguish between reality and imagination, it only responds to the images and emotions impressed upon it. If you constantly envision failure, hardship, or lack, your mind begins to accept these as truths, guiding your decisions and actions toward these outcomes. On the other hand, when you imagine success, abundance, or fulfillment, your mind aligns itself with those visions, setting the stage for their realization. It is not confined to daydreams or idle fantasies, it is a tool for transformation. By deliberately choosing what we imagine, we can change our circumstances, no matter how entrenched they may seem. This is not about wishful thinking or hoping things will change. It is about embodying the feeling of the wish fulfilled, living as though what you desire has already come to pass. When you act from the state of already having achieved your goals, the world begins to align with that inner conviction. This creative power of imagination has been demonstrated time and again throughout history. Great inventors, artists, and visionaries have all used their imagination to bring forth innovations and breakthroughs. They saw possibilities that others could not because they had special gifts, but because they dared to imagine a different reality. They held fast to their visions, despite the challenges or the skepticism of others, and through persistence, those visions became tangible. The beauty of imagination is that it is limitless. While the physical world may impose restrictions, the mind knows no boundaries. It allows us to envision what does not yet exist, and through faith and belief, bring it into being. Every invention, every personal transformation, every achievement begins in the realm of imagination. To shape reality, we must first take control of our inner world. Instead of allowing negative thoughts and fears to dominate our minds, we must learn to consciously direct our imagination toward the outcomes we desire. By visualizing success, peace, and fulfillment, and by acting as if those things are already ours, we set the stage for them to materialize. This is the true power of imagination. It is the creative force that transforms thoughts into things and dreams into reality. Is the foundation upon which all personal transformation is built. Without awareness, we remain trapped in patterns of behavior and thought, blind to the very forces shaping our lives. Transformation is impossible when we are disconnected from our inner world, when we move through life on autopilot, reacting to circumstances without understanding why. The first step to change is not external action, but a deep, honest awareness of ourselves, our habits, our beliefs, and the unconscious motivations driving us. At its core, awareness is the ability to observe ourselves without judgment. It is the capacity to step back and notice our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors as they unfold instead of being swept away by them. Most of the time, we operate from a place of conditioned responses, reacting to situations based on past experiences, fears, and ingrained habits. We repeat patterns without ever questioning them, unaware that they limit our potential for growth and happiness. By cultivating awareness, we begin to see these patterns clearly and recognize how they hold us back. Awareness allows us to shine a light on the aspects of ourselves we usually ignore or deny. It reveals the beliefs we hold about who we are, what we deserve, and what we are capable of. Often these beliefs are outdated or untrue, but because they operate beneath the surface of our conscious mind, they dictate our actions and choices without us realizing it. For example, if we believe that we are not worthy of success, we may unconsciously sabotage opportunities or avoid taking risks. If we are unaware of this belief, we will continue to repeat the same behaviors, wondering why we never move forward. Awareness brings these hidden beliefs to the surface, giving us the chance to examine and challenge them. Once we are aware of the thoughts and behaviors that no longer serve us, we can begin the process of transformation. Change becomes possible when we recognize what needs to change. Without awareness, we remain stuck in cycles of frustration, confusion, or dissatisfaction, unable to understand why things aren't working in our favor. But when we are aware, we can consciously choose different actions, thoughts, and responses. This is where true transformation begins, not in forcing ourselves to be different, but in becoming fully aware of our current state, accepting it without judgment, and then intentionally shifting toward a new way of being. Awareness also connects us to the present moment. So often we live either in the past, replaying old memories and mistakes, or in the future, worrying about what might happen. But transformation can only occur in the present, where we have the power to act and make new choices. By becoming aware of our thoughts and feelings as they arise, we stay grounded in the now, where change is possible. Awareness empowers us to take responsibility for our lives. It shows us that we are not victims of circumstance, but active participants in creating our reality. When we are aware of our inner world, we can begin to shift the thoughts and behaviors that create our outer world. This is the key to transformation, not changing who we are, but becoming aware of who we truly are. and from that place of clarity, stepping into the life we are meant to live. Assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is a powerful principle that transforms desires into reality. At its heart, it means fully embracing the emotional state of having already achieved what you seek. Instead of yearning for a distant goal or hoping for a future event, you align yourself with the fulfillment of that desire now, as though it has already manifested. This practice is not merely a mental exercise, but a deep emotional shift, inviting you to live in the state of your fulfilled wish, thereby attracting it into your life. When we wish for something, we often place it outside of ourselves in the future, just beyond our reach. This creates a sense of separation between where we are and where we want to be, reinforcing a feeling of lack. By assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, we eliminate this gap. Instead of focusing on the absence of our desire, we embrace the joy, peace, and satisfaction that would accompany its fulfillment. In doing so, we change the energy we emit, attracting circumstances and opportunities that align with this new state. Our emotions play a crucial role in shaping our reality. They are like a magnetic field, drawing experiences that resonate with the feelings we consistently embody. If we dwell in states of longing, frustration, or doubt, we continue to manifest situations that reflect those emotions. But when we shift into the feeling of already having what we desire, our outer world begins to conform to that inner state. This is why assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is so transformative. It trains the mind and body to behave as if the desired outcome is already a reality, setting in motion the creative forces that bring it to life. This principle works because the subconscious mind, which governs much of our behavior and perceptions, does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It responds to the emotions and beliefs we impress upon it. When we vividly feel the emotions of our wish fulfilled, we impress upon the subconscious that this new reality is true. The subconscious, in turn, begins to influence our actions, thoughts, and circumstances in ways that align with this new belief. Without conscious effort, we start to move toward our desires with greater confidence and clarity because our inner world has already shifted to reflect the reality we want. The process of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled requires faith and imagination. It asks you to suspend disbelief, to live in the emotional state of having your desire, even when there is no physical evidence yet. It is not about forcing or pretending, but about genuinely cultivating the emotional experience of fulfillment. This might involve visualizing your desired outcome in vivid detail, imagining what it would feel like to have already accomplished your goal. The more real and tangible this feeling becomes, the more deeply it is impressed upon your subconscious mind. This principle also teaches patience. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are no longer anxiously waiting for things to happen. You move through life with a quiet assurance, knowing that what you desire is already on its way to you. This allows you to release the tension and stress that come from trying to control every outcome, trusting instead that your inner state will eventually manifest in your outer world. Assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is about living from the end rather than striving toward it. By embracing the emotional reality of your fulfilled desire, you align yourself with the forces that bring that desire into being. This practice empowers you to become the creator of your own experience, drawing the future you want into the present moment. What you believe, you become. This concept speaks to the profound influence our beliefs have on every aspect of our lives, shaping who we are, how we perceive the world, and what we achieve. Our beliefs act as the lens through which we interpret reality, and they have the power to either limit or liberate us. Whether we are aware of them or not, our beliefs govern our thoughts, actions, and ultimately our outcomes. At the core of this principle is the understanding that beliefs are not just abstract ideas, they are deeply ingrained mental patterns that determine how we experience life. If you believe that you are capable, deserving, and worthy of success, that belief will influence the way you approach opportunities and challenges. Conversely, if you believe that you are unworthy or destined to fail, those beliefs will manifest as self-sabotaging behaviors, preventing you from reaching your full potential. In either case, your beliefs shape your reality by dictating the choices you make and the energy you project into the world. One of the reasons beliefs are so powerful is that they operate largely at a subconscious level. Many of the beliefs we hold were formed early in life, influenced by our upbringing, environment, and experiences. These beliefs, once established, often go unquestioned and unnoticed, yet they continue to guide our actions and decisions. For instance, if you were told as a child that you are not good at math, you may carry that belief into adulthood, avoiding situations that require mathematical skills and reinforcing the notion that you are incapable in that area. This belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, not because it is inherently true, but because it has been accepted as true by your subconscious mind. The power of belief lies in its ability to shape not just our thoughts, but our entire experience of life. What we believe about ourselves affects our confidence, our resilience, and our willingness to take risks. What we believe about the world influences how we engage with others, whether we approach life with optimism or fear, and whether we see opportunities or obstacles. Essentially, our beliefs create a feedback loop. What we believe shapes how we act, and how we act reinforces what we believe. Because beliefs are not fixed, we have the power to change them. This begins with awareness. By becoming conscious of the beliefs that govern your life, you can start to question their validity. Are they serving you? Are they based on truth, or merely on past experiences that no longer apply? Once you've identified limiting beliefs, you can replace them with new, empowering ones. This process is not about blindly adopting positive affirmations, but about shifting your perception of what is possible. It's about reprogramming your subconscious mind to accept new beliefs that align with the reality you wish to create. Changing your beliefs requires consistent effort, but it can lead to profound transformation. When you start to believe that you are capable, worthy, and deserving, you will notice changes in the way you approach life. You will take more risks, pursue greater opportunities, and attract people and situations that reflect your new beliefs. In this way, what you believe, you become. The beliefs we hold about ourselves and the world are the building blocks of our reality. They dictate the limits of what we think is possible, but when we choose to reshape those beliefs, we open the door to new possibilities. To change your life, you must first change what you believe, for your beliefs are the foundation upon which your future is built. As you transform your beliefs, you transform your reality, becoming the person you always had the potential to be. Energy flows where attention goes is a principle that highlights the profound connection between our focus and the outcomes we experience. What we consistently direct our attention towards shapes not only our perception, but also the reality we create. Our energy, whether mental, emotional, or physical, follows the path of our attention, magnifying whatever we are focusing on, whether positive or negative. In essence, whatever we concentrate on intensifies, grows, and ultimately becomes a dominant aspect of our lives. Every thought we think carries energy, and when we repeatedly focus on a specific idea, goal, or problem, we feed it with that energy. This attention can either empower us or drain us, depending on where it is directed. For instance, if we dwell on fears, insecurities, and obstacles, we inadvertently give them more power. By fixating on potential failure or difficulties, we create a mental environment where those challenges become more prominent, and our actions align with those fears. As a result, we may hesitate, hold back, or sabotage our own efforts, reinforcing the negative outcomes we feared in the first place. On the other hand, when we direct our attention toward positive possibilities, opportunities, and solutions, we channel our energy into creating outcomes that reflect those desires. By focusing on what we want rather than what we fear, we align our thoughts and actions with our goals. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges, but rather shifting our attention away from dwelling on problems and toward thinking about potential solutions. When we approach life from this perspective, we find that we have more energy to invest in productive actions, creative thinking, and forward momentum. The power of this principle is evident in every area of life. For example, in relationships, if we constantly focus on our partner's flaws or shortcomings, we will notice those more frequently, leading to frustration or dissatisfaction. The relationship will feel strained because our energy is being directed toward what isn't working. However, if we choose to focus on the positive qualities of the relationship, appreciating kindness, understanding, and shared experiences, we enhance the connection and foster a more harmonious dynamic. The energy we give to positive aspects strengthens them, allowing the relationship to grow in a healthy way. The same principle applies to personal goals. If we focus on the obstacles standing in our way, we may become overwhelmed and discouraged. But when we concentrate on the steps we can take to achieve our goals, we gain clarity, motivation, and the necessary energy to move forward. Our attention acts as a guide for our actions. By consistently directing it toward progress and possibility, we tap into the energy needed to make those things a reality. This idea also has a spiritual dimension. In many practices, attention is considered a form of energy exchange. When we focus on something with intent and purpose, we invest a part of ourselves into that thought or action, influencing the outcome. Meditation, for example, often involves directing attention inward, quieting the mind, and centering energy to cultivate peace, focus, and clarity. Where the mind rests, energy flows, and from that flow, transformation begins. The key to mastering this principle lies in mindfulness, being aware of where our attention is going and how it's shaping our reality. By consciously choosing where to focus, we can redirect our energy from negative, unproductive thoughts to positive, empowering ones. This shift not only changes our internal state, but also influences the external results we experience. When we focus on abundance, opportunity, and personal growth, we naturally attract circumstances and actions that align with those desires. The idea that energy flows where attention goes serves as a reminder of the creative power we hold. We have the ability to direct our focus and therefore our energy toward whatever we wish to grow and develop in our lives. By becoming more intentional about where we place our attention, we can harness our energy to shape a reality that reflects our highest aspirations. Persisting in your desired state is the key to manifesting your deepest aspirations and transforming your reality. It means continuously aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the state of having already achieved your goal, regardless of current circumstances. This process is not merely about hoping or wishing, but about embodying the feelings and mindset of your desired outcome, holding fast to that inner state until the outer world conforms to it. At the heart of this concept is the understanding that the mind plays a central role in shaping our experiences. The state we consistently occupy in our minds and emotions influences our behaviors, decisions, and perceptions. When we dwell in feelings of success, fulfillment, and joy, our energy and actions begin to align with those states, drawing corresponding experiences into our lives. Conversely, if we allow doubt, fear, or frustration to dominate our inner world, those emotions will be reflected in our external reality. Persistence is essential, because achieving our goals is often a journey, not an immediate event. The world around us may take time to adjust to the new state we are assuming. During this period, it's easy to get discouraged, especially if external circumstances don't immediately reflect the inner transformation we are cultivating. This is where many falter, giving up too soon or reverting to old patterns of thinking and feeling. To persist in your desired state means to hold on to that inner conviction, no matter what is happening in the outer world. The process of persistence involves both mental and emotional discipline. First, it requires a clear vision of what you want. You must be able to imagine your desired outcome vividly and with detail, experiencing it as if it were already true. This isn't about simply daydreaming, it's about generating the emotions and mental state that would accompany the fulfillment of that goal. The key is to live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, allowing that state to dominate your inner world. Next, you must guard against doubt and fear. These emotions are natural, especially when the path ahead seems unclear, but they can undermine the entire process if left unchecked. Doubt causes us to waver, shifting our attention from our desired state to the obstacles in our way. Persisting in your desired state means consciously choosing not to entertain those doubts, even when they arise. It means reaffirming your belief in the outcome, trusting that it will unfold in due time. Emotional resilience is crucial here. Persistence is not just about holding a mental picture of success, but about maintaining the emotional state that accompanies it. This requires patience and faith, especially when external results are slow to manifest. During these times, it's important to continue feeling the emotions of success, abundance, or whatever state you wish to experience. By doing so, you remain energetically aligned with your goal, allowing the subconscious mind to work in concert with the universe to bring it into reality. Action also plays a role in persisting in your desired state. While this process is largely internal, the actions we take in the physical world must support the state we wish to embody. If you persist in a state of abundance, for example, your actions should reflect a belief in that abundance rather than scarcity. Every decision, no matter how small, should align with the reality you are seeking to create. Persistence is not passive, it's an active process of embodying your desired state in every aspect of your life. Persistence in your desired state means holding firm to your vision, no matter what challenges arise. It's about maintaining unwavering faith in the eventual realization of your goal, even when external evidence suggests otherwise. Through persistent focus and emotional alignment, you set the stage for the transformation of your inner state into external reality. By refusing to be swayed by temporary setbacks or doubts, you become the creator of your own experience, shaping your world according to the vision you hold within. In conclusion, the power to shape our reality lies within us, governed by our beliefs, focus, and persistent alignment with our desires. What we imagine, believe, and where we direct our attention defines the course of our lives. By assuming the feeling of our wishes fulfilled, focusing our energy on what we truly want, and persisting in that desired state, we become active creators of our own experiences. Through awareness and deliberate choice, we can transform not only our inner world, but the reality that unfolds around us. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me share a timeless truth. Trust God, and He will make a way. There is a force within you, call it God, call it the divine, that is always working, even when you cannot see the evidence. Trust begins with your imagination. What you envision in your mind, with faith and conviction, will become your experience. God does not reside in the heavens, far from you. He lives within you, in your thoughts, your beliefs, your very consciousness. In the realm of imagination, time does not exist. What you see in your mind's eye is not something that will happen one day, it is happening now. Faith bridges the gap between what you see in your imagination and what exists in the physical world. This is why Jesus said, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. It is the belief, the absolute trust that makes it so. God, who is within you, responds to the certainty of your faith. When you imagine something with conviction, you align your consciousness with the divine. The key is to understand that imagination, fueled by faith, is the creative force behind everything. What you imagine consistently and with feeling becomes your reality. When you imagine and believe that God has already made a way for you, you are planting the seed for that path to unfold. Too often people focus on the obstacles, the difficulties, or the lack of immediate results. But trusting God is not dependent on what your physical eyes see. It is based on the inner knowing that what you have imagined is already real. You are not separate from God. God is the creative power that flows through you, and your imagination is the channel through which that power is directed. When you use your imagination with faith, you are not simply hoping for an outcome, you are directing God's creative energy to bring that outcome into being. This is why trust is so essential. Without trust, imagination becomes aimless, and doubt creeps in to undermine the process. Doubt is the great enemy of faith, for it causes the mind to waver, disrupting the creative power at work. Imagination allows you to transcend the limitations of the present moment. When circumstances seem impossible, or when obstacles appear insurmountable, it is easy to feel discouraged. But the beauty of imagination is that it offers a way beyond the limitations of the physical world. When you close your eyes and envision a new reality, you step into a place where all things are possible. In that space there is no limitation, no obstacle that cannot be overcome. This is where faith comes in, to trust that what you see within will eventually manifest in the outer world. Faith is the knowing that what you imagine is already accomplished, even if the physical evidence is not yet apparent. When you combine imagination with faith, you are working in harmony with God's creative laws. You are not waiting for God to intervene in your life from afar. Rather, you are partnering with the divine power that resides within you. The more you trust in this power, the more you will see it reflected in your life. It is crucial to remain persistent in your vision, even when the external world offers no immediate validation. There will be moments when doubt tries to shake your faith, when the world seems to suggest that your dreams are impossible. But this is where true trust in God is tested. Will you continue to believe in the reality of your vision even when no one else can see it? Will you hold firm in your faith, knowing that God's timing is perfect, even when the way seems unclear? This is the essence of trust. When you trust in the power of your imagination and have faith in the unseen, you align yourself with God's limitless potential. You begin to realize that there is no circumstance too great for the divine power within you to overcome. By imagining your desired outcome and holding it in faith, you are not merely wishing for a change, you are commanding it into existence. The outer world will eventually conform to your inner vision, as long as you persist in your trust. So trust in God, knowing that the power of your imagination, when guided by faith, is the very means through which He works to make a way for you. Trust that what you imagine and believe is already real, and watch as the physical world bends to the force of your faith. There is a profound truth that has been echoed through the ages. The divine is not something separate from you, dwelling in a distant heaven, or an external force that controls your life from afar. Instead, the divine resides within you, woven into the fabric of your being. When you truly grasp this, everything about your relationship with God and the world changes. The idea of seeking outside yourself for answers, solutions, or signs fades away, and you begin to understand that the source of all power, wisdom, and creation is already inside you. To trust in God is, first and foremost, to trust in yourself, not the limited self defined by the conditions of the world, but the deeper, infinite self where God abides. This inner divine presence is the force behind all creation, and it is constantly at work within you. When you realize that God lives within, you recognize that you are not a passive participant in life, subject to the whims of external circumstances. Instead, you are an active creator, empowered to shape your reality through your thoughts, beliefs, and imagination. Many people spend their lives searching for God in the external world, whether through religious rituals, seeking approval from others, or waiting for miraculous interventions. But the true miracle is the realization that the divine is not out there, it is within you, always accessible, always ready to guide and support you. When you tap into this inner presence, you connect with the infinite intelligence and love that created the universe. This understanding transforms your entire approach to life. No longer do you feel powerless or at the mercy of circumstances, for you know that the creative force of God is within you, and it is through this connection that you can influence and shape your reality. This inner divinity is not some abstract or mystical concept. It is a living, vibrant force that can be accessed through your consciousness. When you quiet the noise of the outer world and turn inward, you align with this divine presence. You begin to realize that every thought, every belief, every emotion carries the creative power of God within it. This is why it is so important to cultivate a consciousness of faith, love, and trust. When you align your inner world with divine truth, the outer world must reflect that harmony. To trust that the divine is within you is to understand that everything you need is already yours. You do not need to beg or plead for blessings, for they are already available to you through your connection with God. When you affirm this truth and live from it, the barriers that seem to separate you from your desires begin to dissolve. You start to realize that the same power that created the stars, the oceans, and the mountains is also the power that creates your reality. There is no separation between you and the divine. You are one with it, and as such, you are an expression of God's infinite potential. This oneness with the divine also means that you have access to limitless creativity, wisdom, and guidance. When faced with challenges or uncertainties, you do not need to rely solely on your human understanding or the advice of others. Instead, you can turn inward to the divine presence within and ask for guidance. Trust that the answers will come, not always in the way you expect, but in the way that serves your highest good. This inner guidance may appear as an intuitive feeling, a sudden insight, or a series of synchronicities that lead you to exactly where you need to be. Living with the awareness that the divine is within you also shifts the way you see others and the world around you. When you recognize the divinity in yourself, you begin to see it in everyone and everything. The world no longer appears as a place of competition, fear, or lack, but as a reflection of the divine abundance that flows through all of creation. You start to understand that the same power that is within you is within everyone, and this fosters a deep sense of compassion, unity, and peace. Trusting in the divine within you is an act of surrender, not in the sense of giving up, but in the sense of letting go of the need to control everything from the limited perspective of the ego. When you trust in the divine presence within, you surrender to a higher wisdom, a higher plan that is always working for your good. You stop resisting life and start flowing with it, knowing that you are being guided by the same force that governs the stars and the seasons. So embrace the truth that God is not outside of you, but within you. Trust in this inner divine presence, and you will find that life begins to unfold with grace, ease, and purpose. You are not a separate being, struggling to connect with God. You are an expression of God, already connected, already empowered, already capable of manifesting the life you desire. The divine is within you, and through this understanding, all things are possible. Living in the end is a profound and transformative practice that goes beyond mere hope or faith. It is the embodiment of certainty. To live in the end means to assume, in both your thoughts and feelings, that your desired outcome has already been fulfilled. You are no longer waiting for something to happen in the future. Instead, you are living in the state of mind and heart where your desire is a present reality. This is a powerful principle because it aligns your inner world with the truth that what you seek is already accomplished. The key to living in the end is understanding that imagination is not just a tool for dreaming, but the foundation of creation. What you imagine and feel deeply is what will eventually manifest in your physical world. When you live as though your wish has already come true, you are not pretending or deceiving yourself. You are aligning your consciousness with the future you want to create. By doing so, you are drawing that future toward you like a magnet attracting its match. This is the secret behind manifestation. The outer world always reflects the inner state. When you consistently live in the end, the world must reshape itself to conform to the reality you hold within. Many people make the mistake of thinking that they must wait for external evidence before they can feel the emotions of success, love, or fulfillment. They believe that they will only be happy once their desires are realized. But this mindset creates a cycle of waiting, where the present moment is always spent in anticipation rather than in fulfillment. Living in the end breaks this cycle by allowing you to feel the joy, peace, and gratitude of your accomplished desire now, in this very moment. When you embody these emotions as if your goal is already achieved, you shift your vibration and align yourself with the reality you wish to experience. This is not wishful thinking, it is aligning with the creative power of the universe. The principle of living in the end works because the mind does not distinguish between real and imagined experiences. If you persistently hold the feeling that your desire is already fulfilled, your subconscious mind will accept this as truth. Once the subconscious accepts this truth, it begins to orchestrate the circumstances, people, and events necessary to bring that vision into the physical world. This is why it is so important to not merely think about your desire, but to live it emotionally and mentally as if it has already happened. The power of living in the end comes from the fact that it transcends the limitations of time and space. When you live in the end, you are not constrained by the physical world's current conditions. You are not concerned with how or when your desire will manifest. You understand that time is fluid, and that everything you want already exists in the realm of possibilities. By living in the state of fulfillment, you bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. The how is not your concern. Your only task is to maintain the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The universe will take care of the details. One of the greatest challenges people face when practicing this principle is maintaining faith when the external world seems unchanged. There may be no immediate signs that your desire is coming to pass, and doubt can begin to creep in. But living in the end requires unwavering trust. You must persist in your assumption, even when everything around you suggests otherwise. This is where most people falter. They abandon their vision too soon, allowing the evidence of their senses to dictate their beliefs. However, if you continue to live in the end with full confidence that your desire is already fulfilled, the outer world will eventually catch up with your inner conviction. Living in the end also shifts the way you approach life's challenges. When you operate from the belief that your wish is already fulfilled, obstacles are no longer seen as barriers. Instead, they are simply part of the unfolding process, opportunities for growth that ultimately lead you closer to your desired outcome. You no longer react to difficulties with frustration or doubt, but with calm assurance, knowing that the path is already laid out for you. This attitude not only accelerates the manifestation process, but also brings peace and joy in the present moment, regardless of what the outer world looks like. Another crucial aspect of living in the end is gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful force because it affirms that what you desire is already yours. When you feel gratitude in advance of receiving something, you are living in the end. You are acknowledging that the gift has already been given, even if you cannot yet see it with your physical eyes. This deepens your connection to the desired outcome and speeds up its arrival. The more you feel thankful for your fulfilled desire, the more you align yourself with its reality. Living in the end is about embodying the state of your desired outcome now, not later. It is about believing and feeling that your dream has already come true, even before there is any physical evidence of it. When you live in this way, with unwavering faith and gratitude, the universe must respond. It will move mountains to align with the reality you have chosen to live. Persistence in the face of doubt is one of the most crucial aspects of trusting in God's plan and manifesting your desires. Doubt is a natural part of the human experience. It arises when we encounter obstacles or when our faith is tested by circumstances that seem to contradict our hopes and dreams. But the power of persistence lies in the ability to remain steadfast in your belief, regardless of what appears to be happening around you. It is in these moments of doubt that your true faith is forged, and your capacity to trust in God's divine timing and wisdom is deepened. Doubt often emerges when the external world does not immediately reflect the desires we have planted in our hearts. We may have prayed, visualized, and affirmed our goals, but when nothing seems to change, doubt creeps in. We start to question whether our desires are achievable, whether we are worthy of them, or whether God is really working on our behalf. This is where persistence becomes key. In these moments, you must understand that the external world is merely a reflection of your previous thoughts and beliefs. It takes time for the new reality you are creating within to manifest in the outer world. It is not about forcing or struggling to make something happen. Rather, it is the quiet, steady confidence that your desire is already fulfilled, even if you cannot yet see the evidence. It is the inner knowing that God is always working, that every step you take in faith is moving you closer to your goal, even if the progress is invisible. To persist in the face of doubt is to trust in the unseen forces that are aligning to bring your vision to fruition. One of the most powerful tools for persistence is imagination. When doubt arises, it is easy to become fixated on the lack of visible results, which only strengthens the doubt. But instead of focusing on what isn't happening, turn inward and reconnect with the feeling of your desire already fulfilled. Imagine in vivid detail what it feels like to have what you want. This shifts your focus away from the doubt and back toward faith. The more you live in the state of the wish fulfilled, the more your doubts will begin to dissolve. It is also important to recognize that doubt is not an enemy to be fought, but a natural part of the growth process. Doubt can actually serve as an opportunity to strengthen your faith. When you encounter doubt, you are being called to make a choice. Will you allow doubt to dictate your beliefs and actions, or will you persist in your trust that God is making a way for you? Every time you choose to persist in faith, despite the presence of doubt, you reinforce the belief that your desire is already on its way. This persistence is not about denying the reality of doubt, but about transcending it. You acknowledge that doubt exists, but you do not allow it to sway you from your path. Instead, you use it as a stepping stone to deepen your commitment to your vision. Each moment of doubt can be a moment of decision, an opportunity to reaffirm your trust in God's plan, even when the way forward seems unclear. Another powerful way to persist in the face of doubt is through gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to doubt, because it shifts your focus from what you perceive as lacking to what you have already received. When you practice gratitude for the blessings that have already manifested in your life, you reinforce the belief that you are supported and guided by divine forces. Moreover, when you express gratitude for your desires as though they have already been fulfilled, you align yourself with the vibration of receiving. Gratitude turns your attention away from doubt and back toward faith. In moments of doubt, it is also important to remember that God's timing is perfect. Often we become impatient when our desires do not manifest according to our timeline. We want things to happen quickly, and when they don't, we assume that nothing is happening at all. But the truth is that divine timing is always at work. What may seem like a delay is often a necessary part of the unfolding process. Sometimes things must be aligned behind the scenes in ways we cannot yet understand. Trusting in God's timing means surrendering the need to control every aspect of how and when your desires will come to fruition. Persistence, then, is not just about holding on to faith during the easy moments. It is about remaining committed when doubt looms large. It is about trusting in the power of the unseen and believing that even in the face of challenges, your desires are being fulfilled. Each time you choose faith over doubt, you are planting seeds in the fertile soil of your consciousness. Over time, these seeds will grow into the reality you have envisioned. Creation follows belief, a principle as ancient as time and as powerful as the forces that govern the universe. At the core of this concept is the understanding that your beliefs shape your reality. Every experience, every circumstance you encounter in life, is a reflection of the beliefs you hold in your mind. Whether you are conscious of them or not, these beliefs are the driving force behind everything that manifests in your world. The external world is not something that happens to you. It is something that you actively create through your inner convictions. This principle is grounded in the truth that consciousness is the foundation of all creation. What you believe to be true, deep within, becomes the blueprint for the life you live. Creation does not happen randomly or by chance. It is guided by the thoughts, emotions, and expectations that dominate your mind. Your beliefs act as the filter through which the infinite potential of the universe is shaped and brought into form. The law of creation follows the law of belief, and once you grasp this, you begin to realize that you hold immense power over the unfolding of your life. The process of creation through belief begins with awareness. To create a new reality, you must first become aware of the beliefs you currently hold. What do you believe about yourself, your abilities, your worthiness? What do you believe about life, money, love, and success? Are these beliefs empowering or limiting? The answers to these questions are crucial because they reveal the subconscious patterns that have been shaping your life up to this point. Once you become aware of these beliefs, you can begin to challenge and replace those that no longer serve you. The next step is to consciously choose new beliefs that align with the life you want to create. This is where the power of imagination and intention comes into play. Imagination is not just for dreaming, it is the tool through which you form new beliefs. When you vividly imagine yourself living the life you desire, you begin to internalize that vision as truth. The more you repeat this process, the more your subconscious mind accepts this new belief as reality. Your mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is imagined when the emotion and belief are strong enough. This is why it is said, as you believe, so it shall be done unto you. Your beliefs act as magnets, drawing experiences, people, and circumstances into your life that align with them. If you believe that the world is a hostile place, you will encounter situations that confirm that belief. If you believe that you are destined for success, opportunities will present themselves to you. This is not magic, it is the natural law of creation. The universe responds to your beliefs by reflecting them back to you in the form of experiences. The outside world mirrors your inner world, and as your beliefs change, so too does your reality. It is essential to understand that this process works whether you are aware of it or not. You are always creating, consciously or unconsciously. This is why cultivating positive, empowering beliefs is so important. If you do not take control of your beliefs, they will continue to be shaped by external influences, by fear, doubt, or negative experiences. But once you take responsibility for your beliefs, you reclaim your creative power. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become the architect of your destiny. Belief is the seed from which all creation grows, but it must be nurtured with faith and persistence. Changing long-held beliefs takes time and dedication. There may be moments when the external world still reflects your old beliefs, tempting you to give up or revert to past patterns. But remember, creation follows belief, and sometimes there is a delay between planting the seed of a new belief and seeing it bloom in your life. This is where faith comes in, the unwavering trust that your belief is already shaping your reality, even if the evidence is not yet visible. Faith bridges the gap between belief and manifestation. When you hold a belief with conviction and act as though it is already true, you accelerate the process of creation. This is living in the end, acting from the place of having already received what you desire. The more you embody this belief in your thoughts, feelings, and actions, the faster the outer world will reflect it back to you. Creation always follows belief. The world you experience is a direct reflection of the beliefs you hold. By changing your beliefs, you change your reality. This is the essence of true power, the realization that you are the creator of your life, and that through conscious belief, you can shape your world in alignment with your highest vision. The universe is a mirror, reflecting back to you what you believe to be true, and as you shift those beliefs, the mirror of your life transforms. When you cultivate gratitude for the unseen, you align yourself with the vibration of receiving. Gratitude shifts your energy from a state of lack or wanting to a state of abundance and fulfillment. Instead of focusing on what you don't have or what hasn't happened yet, you begin to feel thankful for what is already unfolding, even if you can't see it. This shift in focus is transformative because it moves you into harmony with the creative forces of the universe. And by expressing gratitude for what is not yet visible, you affirm your trust in the divine timing and wisdom of the process. For the unseen also requires letting go of the need for immediate proof or external validation. This is where faith plays a crucial role. It can be easy to feel grateful for things that are already tangible, things that you can touch, see, or hold. But true gratitude, the kind that transforms your life, extends beyond the physical and into the realm of the invisible. It is the kind of gratitude that says, I know that everything is working out for my highest good, even if I can't see the results yet. This practice of gratitude is deeply connected to the law of attraction and manifestation. When you express gratitude for the unseen, you are essentially living as though your desire is already fulfilled. This creates a powerful magnetic force that draws your desire closer to you. The universe responds to the energy you emit, and when that energy is one of thankfulness and trust, you attract more things to be thankful for. Gratitude amplifies your ability to manifest because it communicates to the universe that you are ready to receive, that you believe in the outcome even before it arrives. Gratitude for the unseen transforms the waiting period from one of frustration to one of joy and anticipation. Waiting for something to manifest can often feel uncomfortable, especially if you are focused on the absence of what you want. But when you fill that space with gratitude, the waiting becomes a time of preparation and alignment. Instead of feeling anxious or impatient, you begin to feel excited, knowing that your desire is on its way. This shift in perspective not only makes the process more enjoyable, but also accelerates the manifestation of your desire. Practicing gratitude for the unseen is also a way of affirming your belief in infinite possibilities. It reminds you that just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not in progress. The unseen is where all creation begins. Every idea, every dream, and every goal starts in the invisible realm of thought and imagination before it takes form in the physical world. By being grateful for what you cannot yet see, you acknowledge that the invisible is just as real and powerful as the visible. You trust that the universe is always working behind the scenes, orchestrating the perfect circumstances to bring your desire into reality. In conclusion, trusting that God will make a way is about aligning your beliefs, thoughts, and emotions with the divine power within you. Through imagination, persistence in the face of doubt, living in the end, and practicing gratitude for the unseen, you tap into the creative force that shapes your reality. Your beliefs guide creation, and with unwavering faith, you realize that the unseen is just as real as the seen. As you embrace this truth, you'll witness how divine wisdom works through every aspect of your life, always making a way where there seems to be none. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine for a moment that what you are seeking, what you desire most in this world, is already within your grasp. Not in the distant future, not in some abstract sense, but right here, right now. The beauty of life is that what you are looking for is also looking for you. Your desires, your dreams, they are not separate from you. They are simply waiting for you to align with them, to embrace them with your entire being. Is the gateway to creation. Everything that exists in the world today, whether it be great cities, towering skyscrapers, technological marvels, or even the smallest innovations, began as a simple thought in someone's mind. The chair you sit on, the phone in your hand, the music you listen to, all were born from the imagination of an individual who dared to envision what did not yet exist. This ability to imagine is not merely a mental exercise, it is the fundamental force that brings the invisible into the visible. Imagination is the creative force that shapes reality. The power of imagination lies in its ability to transcend the limitations of the physical world. In the realm of imagination, there are no boundaries, no restrictions. You can be anyone, do anything, and have everything you desire. It is a space where you can explore endless possibilities, free from the constraints of time, logic, or circumstance. When you imagine something vividly, you are not just engaging in idle daydreams, you are crafting the blueprint for what will eventually take form in your physical reality. The mind does not distinguish between what is imagined and what is real, it simply responds to the images and emotions you consistently hold in your consciousness. Allows you to create a vision of the life you want. Every great success story, whether in business, art, science, or personal achievement, begins with someone imagining a future that is different from their present. The greatest leaders and innovators in history have understood this principle. They did not accept the world as it was, they imagined what it could be and worked to bring that vision into existence. But this creative process does not happen by chance. It requires a deep belief in the power of the mind and a willingness to cultivate the inner images that align with the life you wish to create. When you use your imagination deliberately, you are engaging in an act of creation. To do this effectively, you must learn to focus your imagination on what you want, rather than what you fear. Many people unknowingly use their imagination to reinforce negative outcomes, imagining the worst-case scenarios and dwelling on their anxieties. This too is a form of creation, but it leads to the manifestation of undesirable results. The mind is incredibly powerful, and what you consistently imagine will eventually manifest, whether positive or negative. Therefore, it is essential to consciously direct your imagination toward your desires and aspirations. One of the most profound ways to harness the creative power of imagination is through the practice of visualization. Visualization involves creating mental images of your desired outcomes and experiencing them as though they are already real. This is not mere fantasy, but a deliberate and purposeful process of aligning your inner world with the reality you wish to experience. When you visualize with emotion and belief, you send out powerful signals to the universe, shaping the circumstances and events that will bring your vision into being. The more vividly you can imagine your desires, the more real they become in your consciousness, and the faster they will manifest in your life. Also plays a key role in overcoming obstacles. When faced with challenges, it is easy to become consumed by doubt or fear. However, imagination offers a way to rise above these difficulties. By imagining solutions, new perspectives, and creative ways forward, you can navigate through even the most daunting problems. The ability to think creatively, to see beyond the immediate situation, and to envision a positive outcome is what distinguishes those who succeed from those who remain stuck. Imagination empowers you to see opportunities where others see only limitations. Imagination connects you to a deeper sense of purpose and possibility. It allows you to tap into your innate creativity and express yourself in ways that are uniquely your own. Through imagination, you discover that you are not a passive observer of life, but an active creator of your experience. You hold within you the power to shape your destiny by first shaping the images you carry in your mind. The world around you is a reflection of the world within you. What you imagine consistently, with belief and emotion, becomes your reality. Imagination is not something to be dismissed or trivialized. It is the driving force behind every creation. So, the more you cultivate your imagination, the more you realize that there are no limits to what you can achieve. You are the creator of your life, and your imagination is the tool through which all things become possible. When we think about creating the life we desire, we often focus on external actions, making plans, working hard, and pursuing opportunities. While these are important, the real key to manifesting what you want lies within through the alignment of your inner state with your desires. This inner alignment is the process of harmonizing your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs with the reality you wish to experience. When you align your inner world with what you seek, you create a magnetic force that draws your desires toward you effortlessly and naturally. The first step to inner alignment is recognizing that your outer world is a reflection of your inner state. If you look closely at your life, you will see that it mirrors your dominant thoughts and emotions. If you are constantly worried, stressed, or doubtful, you will likely experience more situations that trigger these feelings. On the other hand, when you cultivate feelings of peace, joy, and fulfillment, even before your desires materialize, you begin to see evidence of these qualities in your external world. This is because the universe responds not just to what you ask for, but to the energy you are emitting. Aligning with your desires starts with belief. You must believe that what you want is not only possible but inevitable. Many people set goals or have dreams but remain stuck because deep down they don't believe they deserve them or doubt they can achieve them. These subconscious blocks create a disconnect between their desires and their reality. Inner alignment means bridging that gap by cultivating a sense of certainty that what you desire is already on its way to you. This belief should be so strong that you feel as though your desire is already fulfilled, even if there is no immediate evidence of it in your current circumstances. A critical aspect of this process is learning to live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This doesn't mean pretending or denying reality, but rather shifting your focus from lack to abundance. Instead of fixating on what you don't have or what hasn't happened yet, you immerse yourself in the emotions you would feel if your desire were already realized. If you seek love, imagine the joy, warmth, and connection of being in a loving relationship. If you desire financial abundance, feel the security, freedom, and excitement of having financial wealth. The key is to embody the emotional state that corresponds with having what you want long before it arrives. Your emotions are powerful indicators of your alignment. When you feel good, when you experience positive emotions like gratitude, excitement, and contentment, you are in alignment with your desires. These feelings are like signals that you are on the right path. Conversely, When you feel frustrated, anxious, or doubtful, it is a sign that you are out of alignment. In these moments, it is important to realign yourself by shifting your focus back to the feelings of your desire fulfilled. This can be done through visualization, affirmations, or simply taking time to appreciate what is already good in your life. Another important component of inner alignment is letting go of attachment to the outcome. This might seem counterintuitive, especially when you deeply want something, but clinging too tightly to your desires creates resistance. When you are overly attached, you may experience feelings of desperation or fear of losing out, which are actually signals of lack. These feelings push what you want further away. To align with your desires, you must trust that the universe is working in your favor, and that your desires will manifest in the perfect way and timing. This doesn't mean you stop wanting your desire, it means you release the need to control how and when it will come, knowing that it is already on its way. This trust is rooted in the understanding that everything you seek is already available to you on a vibrational level. The universe responds to the frequency of your thoughts and emotions. When you are in alignment, you are vibrating at the same frequency as your desire. This is why it's so crucial to stay in a state of positive expectation and gratitude. By appreciating the good things already in your life and expecting more to come, you align yourself with the energy of abundance, and what you want flows to you more easily. Inner alignment with desire also requires patience. The process of manifesting your desires is not always immediate, and there may be moments when doubt creeps in or things don't seem to be going as planned. During these times, it's important to remain focused on the end result and not get discouraged by temporary setbacks. These are just part of the process, and they don't mean that your desires aren't coming. By maintaining your inner alignment, by keeping your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs in harmony with what you want, to ensure that your desires will manifest, often in ways more perfect than you could have imagined. Inner alignment with your desires is about becoming the person who already has what you want. It is about feeling, thinking, and acting as though your desires are already a reality, trusting in the process, and releasing any resistance that stands in your way. When you achieve this state of alignment, your desires come to you with ease, as naturally as the sunrise follows the night. The power to manifest your dreams lies not in forcing the external world to change, but in transforming your inner world to match what you seek. Belief is one of the most powerful forces shaping human experience. It is the foundation upon which we build our understanding of the world, and it directly influences our actions, emotions, and ultimately the outcomes we experience in life. What we believe, we become. Our beliefs shape our perceptions, guide our choices, and create the lens through which we view reality. Whether we are aware of it or not, our beliefs hold tremendous power, determining the direction of our lives and the quality of our experiences. The power of belief operates on both conscious and subconscious levels. Consciously, we hold beliefs about ourselves, our abilities, and what is possible in our lives. These beliefs influence the decisions we make every day. If you believe you are capable, talented, and deserving of success, you will approach life with confidence, seize opportunities, and persevere through challenges. On the other hand, if you hold limiting beliefs such as believing you are unworthy, not smart enough, or unlucky, your actions will reflect these doubts, often resulting in missed opportunities or self-sabotage. But it is the subconscious beliefs, those deeply ingrained assumptions we hold about life, that are often the most powerful. These are the beliefs formed from early experiences, cultural conditioning, and repeated patterns of thought. They operate silently, often without our awareness, yet they influence every aspect of our lives. If you were taught from a young age that life is a struggle, for example, you may unconsciously adopt this belief and experience continual hardship, even when opportunities for ease and success present themselves. The subconscious mind is a powerful creator of reality, responding to the beliefs that reside within it. The link between belief and manifestation is profound. What you believe about the world, others, and yourself becomes your reality. The world reflects back to you the beliefs you hold. If you believe that success is difficult to achieve, it will be. If you believe that love is hard to find, Your experiences will confirm this. Conversely, if you believe that abundance, happiness, and love are your natural states, you will see evidence of this in your life. This is because beliefs act as filters through which we interpret and respond to our experiences. They determine how we perceive opportunities, how we interact with others, and how we respond to challenges. In the realm of personal growth and transformation, changing your beliefs is often the first step to creating the life you desire. But this is not always easy. Many of our beliefs are deeply entrenched, formed over years of conditioning. However, the good news is that beliefs can be changed. The first step to changing a belief is becoming aware of it. This requires introspection and an honest assessment of the thoughts that dominate your mind. Once you become aware of a limiting belief, you can begin to challenge its validity. Ask yourself, is this belief based on fact, or is it a story I've been telling myself? Is it possible that the opposite of this belief could be true? One of the most effective ways to change a belief is through repetition. The subconscious mind is programmed through repeated exposure to thoughts and ideas. If you consistently feed your mind with new, empowering beliefs over time, these will replace the old, limiting ones. Affirmations are a powerful tool in this process. By repeatedly affirming positive beliefs, such as I am worthy of success, I attract love and abundance, or everything is working out for my highest good, you reprogram your subconscious mind to align with these new truths. Another powerful tool for changing beliefs is visualization. When you visualize yourself living in alignment with a new belief, you send strong signals to your subconscious mind. For example, if you want to change a belief around abundance, you could visualize yourself living in a state of financial freedom, feeling the emotions associated with it: peace, joy, and security. The more vivid and emotionally charged your visualizations are, the more powerful they become in shifting your beliefs. It's also important to surround yourself with evidence that supports your new belief. This could involve seeking out success stories of others who have achieved what you desire, or surrounding yourself with people who embody the beliefs you want to adopt. The more you immerse yourself in an environment that reinforces your new beliefs, the faster they will take root. Belief is not just an abstract concept, it has the power to influence physical reality. There are countless stories of individuals who have overcome seemingly insurmountable odds, not because of superior abilities or luck, but because they believed in their ability to succeed. These individuals often held a vision of success so strong that no obstacle could shake their faith. Their belief became a self-fulfilling prophecy, shaping their actions, decisions, and ultimately their outcomes. The power of belief cannot be overstated. What you believe about yourself and the world determines the reality you experience. Your beliefs are the seeds from which your life grows. If you want to change your life, begin by changing your beliefs. Cultivate beliefs that empower you, that align with the vision of the life you want to live. As you shift your inner landscape, your outer world will naturally follow. Belief is the foundation of all creation, and when you harness its power, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Living in the end is a transformative mindset and practice that involves embodying the feeling and state of having already achieved what you desire. It is about mentally and emotionally placing yourself in the position where your goal or wish is already fulfilled. This concept is a powerful key to manifestation, as it aligns your inner world, your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs with the reality you want to experience. By doing so, you become a magnet for the circumstances and events that will make your desire a reality. At its core, living in the end means thinking, feeling, and acting as if your desired outcome is already part of your present reality. It shifts your focus from hoping or wishing for something to happen to knowing that it has already occurred in the spiritual or mental realm, and it is only a matter of time before it materializes in the physical world. This mindset brings a sense of calm, confidence, and certainty, because you are no longer anxiously waiting for your desire to manifest. You are living from the state of its fulfillment. One of the most important aspects of living in the end is cultivating the feeling of having already achieved your goal. Emotions play a crucial role in the process of manifestation because they are the language through which your subconscious mind and the universe communicate. When you feel the emotions associated with your wish fulfilled, whether it's joy, gratitude, peace, or excitement, you are energetically aligning yourself with the outcome you desire. This alignment creates a vibrational match between your inner state and your external reality, which helps draw your desire toward you. It's essential to engage your imagination. Imagination is not just a tool for daydreaming, but a powerful instrument of creation. By vividly imagining yourself in the scenario where your wish is already fulfilled, you begin to train your mind to accept it as real. For example, if your desire is to manifest financial abundance, you might imagine yourself living a life of financial freedom, paying off debts, traveling the world, or enjoying the security and peace of mind that comes with wealth. The key is to immerse yourself in the scene, feel the emotions of that experience, and consistently return to that state of mind. Living in the end also means letting go of the how often. When we set a goal, we become overly concerned with how it will happen. We feel the need to control every step and manipulate the outcome. However, this attachment to the process can create resistance, as it is rooted in doubt and fear. When you are living in the end, you trust that the path to your desire will unfold in the perfect way, even if you don't yet know how. You release the need to control every detail, and instead focus on maintaining the feeling of your wish already fulfilled. By doing so, you allow the universe to handle the how and orchestrate the events and opportunities that will bring your desire to fruition. Another aspect of living in the end is acting as if your desire is already a reality. This doesn't mean making irrational decisions or pretending in a way that feels forced. Rather, it's about embodying the mindset, confidence, and actions of someone who has already achieved what they want. If your desire is to manifest a successful career, for example, you would begin to adopt the habits, behaviors, and decisions of someone who is already thriving in their field. You might network more confidently, take on new projects with enthusiasm, or approach challenges with the mindset that success is inevitable. By aligning your actions with the version of yourself who has already succeeded, you begin to close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. One of the key benefits of living in the end is that it helps to dissolve resistance. Resistance often comes in the form of fear, doubt, and negative thinking, which block the flow of manifestation. When you are fully immersed in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, there is no room for doubt or fear, because you are already living from the state of having what you want. This mindset removes the struggle and tension associated with waiting for your desire to appear, replacing it with a sense of peace and certainty. Consistency is vital when practicing living in the end. It's easy to fall back into old patterns of thinking, especially when your current reality doesn't yet reflect your desires. However, by consistently returning to the feeling of your wish fulfilled through visualization, affirmations, and aligning your actions with your desired outcome, you reinforce this new reality in your mind. Over time, your subconscious mind accepts it as true, and your external circumstances begin to shift to match your inner state. Then, living in the end is about embodying the mindset, emotions, and behaviors of someone who already has what they desire. It is a powerful practice that aligns your inner world with your goals and helps to manifest them in the physical realm. By focusing on the feeling of your wish fulfilled, trusting the process, and consistently acting from a place of confidence and certainty, you attract the people, opportunities, and circumstances that will bring your desires to life. The moment you live from the end, your world begins to change, and what once seemed distant starts to draw closer until it becomes your reality. Letting go and trusting the process is a fundamental principle of achieving success, personal growth, and manifesting your desires. It requires you to release your need for control and surrender to the natural flow of life. While this may seem counterintuitive, especially when you're deeply invested in a goal or outcome, learning to let go is often the key to experiencing the freedom, peace, and success that you seek. Letting go does not mean giving up, rather. It is about releasing attachment to how and when things will happen, trusting that the universe, life, or a higher power is orchestrating everything perfectly behind the scenes. The essence of letting go is rooted in trust, trusting that your desires are heard, that the actions you've taken are sufficient, and that the outcome you seek will manifest in the best possible way. When you let go, you are freeing yourself from the need to micromanage every detail and from the anxiety that comes with trying to control things that are beyond your reach. Control often stems from fear that things won't work out, that you'll miss out on something, or that you are not enough. But when you trust the process, you acknowledge that the universe is working in your favor, and even if the path doesn't unfold exactly as you imagined, it will lead you to where you need to be. One of the reasons letting go is so powerful is that it removes resistance. When you are tightly attached to a specific outcome, or the way you think things should happen, you often create mental and emotional blocks. This resistance can manifest as stress, frustration, or doubt, all of which lower your vibrational energy and push away the very things you desire. By contrast, when you let go and trust the process, you align yourself with a state of flow and openness to receiving what is best for you, even if it comes in unexpected forms. This openness allows opportunities, ideas, and solutions to come into your life with ease because you are no longer standing in your own way. Letting go also means releasing attachment to timing. One of the most common sources of frustration is the belief that things are taking too long, or that you need to achieve something by a specific deadline. This impatience can lead to forcing things to happen, often in ways that feel unnatural or stressful. However, when you trust the process, you understand that things unfold in divine timing. The universe operates according to its own rhythm, and sometimes delays or setbacks are not signs of failure, but rather opportunities for growth, preparation, or a redirection towards something even better than you initially imagined. Trusting the process also involves letting go of the need to know every step of the journey. Often we want to see the entire path laid out before us, but life rarely works that way. The path to achieving your goals or fulfilling your desires is often revealed one step at a time. Trusting the process means having faith that each step you take will lead you closer to your destination, even if you can't see the full picture yet. It's about taking inspired action when it feels right, then stepping back and allowing the next step to reveal itself. This is a dance between effort and surrender, action and patience. Letting go invites a sense of peace and inner calm. When you're constantly trying to control outcomes, you place yourself under enormous mental and emotional strain. You may become preoccupied with worst-case scenarios or obsess over what hasn't yet materialized. This constant state of tension can lead to burnout or disappointment. However, when you release your need for control, you invite ease into your life. You learn to enjoy the present moment, trusting that what is meant for you will come to you at the right time. This sense of peace allows you to approach your goals from a place of joy rather than anxiety, which in turn enhances your ability to manifest what you desire. A critical part of letting go is accepting that life's outcomes are not always in our hands. There are many factors that influence our circumstances, and not everything is within our control. Letting go involves acknowledging this fact and being at peace with it. You can control your actions, your thoughts, and your responses, but you cannot always control the external events that occur in your life. Trusting the process means believing that even in the face of adversity or setbacks, life is still working for your highest good. Sometimes, what we perceive as a failure or disappointment is actually a redirection towards something greater. Letting go allows you to tap into the wisdom of your higher self or intuition. When you are constantly forcing outcomes, you may ignore the subtle signs and guidance that the universe is offering you. By trusting the process, you become more attuned to these inner nudges, which often lead you in the right direction with much more ease than if you were trying to figure everything out on your own. Intuition often speaks softly, and it is in the space of letting go that you can hear it more clearly. Letting go and trusting the process is about releasing attachment to how and when things will happen and embracing the journey with faith and openness. It frees you from the stress of overthinking, removes resistance, and allows life to unfold naturally. By trusting that everything is working out in your favor, even if it's not immediately apparent, you align yourself with the flow of life. This alignment allows your desires to manifest with greater ease and in ways that are often better than you could have planned. Let go, Trust the process and watch how life begins to move in your favor. The law of assumption is a powerful principle rooted in the idea that whatever you assume to be true, whether about yourself, others, or the world around you, will manifest in your reality. It is based on the understanding that your assumptions shape your perceptions, beliefs, and actions, and ultimately they create your experience of life. Unlike the law of attraction, which focuses on the energy you emit and the like energy you attract, the law of assumption centers on the idea that your assumptions directly create your reality by influencing your subconscious mind and the circumstances you encounter. At its core, the law of assumption states that you must assume the feeling and state of already having what you desire, and then reality will conform to that assumption. This means that the key to manifesting your desires is not in wishing, hoping, or even waiting for them to happen, but in assuming that they are already a part of your experience. When you embody the state of having your desire now, whether it is success, love, abundance, or health, you shift your inner world to align with that reality, and your external world follows suit. The first step in applying the law of assumption is identifying what it is that you truly want. Once you are clear on your desire, you must begin to assume that it is already yours. This involves creating a mental image and emotional state of your wish fulfilled. The more vividly and consistently you can imagine yourself living in this reality, the more powerfully you will assume it to be true. Your subconscious mind, which controls much of your behavior and perception, does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. Therefore, by assuming the feeling of your desire fulfilled, you are programming your subconscious to accept this as your new reality. A crucial aspect of this process is understanding the role of feelings and emotions. The law of assumption teaches that it is not enough to simply think about what you want, you must also feel as though it is already yours. Your feelings are the language of the subconscious mind, and they send powerful signals to the universe about what you are creating. If you feel abundant, loved, or successful, even before these things are physically present in your life, you align yourself with the energy of those experiences. Conversely, if you feel lack, doubt, or frustration, you are assuming that your desires are not yours, and the universe will mirror this assumption by keeping them out of reach. In conclusion, the key to manifesting your desires lies in the power of your imagination, belief, and the ability to live in the end, embodying the feeling of already having what you seek. By trusting the process, letting go of control, and assuming your wish is fulfilled, you align your inner world with the reality you desire. Everything starts within. What you believe and assume becomes your experience. As you embrace these principles, you'll find that life begins to shift in remarkable ways, bringing your dreams to fruition. Thank you. None to you.